I love the shirt, by the way.
Thank you. I've never seen it.
So you're like one of those guys that wears a Nirvana t-shirt to high school, not knowing what Nirvana even is.
Nirvana is my favorite clothing brand, right? It's a clothing brand. Yeah. No, I do like Cowboy. What is it? Blip Blop?
Cowboy Blip Blop?
Cowboy Blip Blop. You know, yeah, it's one of the good ones.
I just wish a girl would just absolutely fucking kill me. Have you not seen that audio? Where it's like, there's someone who can do a really good Spike impression. It's like, I love the kind of girl that could just absolutely fucking kill me. Like red paint splatter on the back of a wall.
Well, it without knowing the context, it didn't sound like Spike Spiegel at all. So that's why I was confused. Your impression. It didn't sound like Mickey Mouse. So usually you just jump towards Mickey Mouse.
My impressions are usually just Mickey Mouse or a cigarette smoker. No, have you been? I've been away.
It's been good. You have been away, but there's a lot to talk about. You started streaming.
I started streaming.
I've been editing episode 4 and you're talking about beginning to stream. And now you're like, what, 5-6 streams in?
Yeah, 5.
What does technically mean?
Well, because on my stream analytics, it says stream on 7 like unique days, meaning like don't stream the same day twice, which I don't know anybody.
No, it means how many of your streams are unique. That's Twitch calling you out.
What?
So your streams aren't unique is what Twitch is saying.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel worse. But yeah, I got a couple streams under my belt and I'm having a lot of fun. And I think I'm doing pretty good despite the fact that I just started.
You are.
I'm kind of stealing and piggybacking you and my friends, but
that's okay. That's literally, and this is why I stress it's so easy to become affiliate.
Because is it like once you get to affiliate, then it's easier to get to a broader audience?
No, I mean, you have more tools at your disposal, but they don't really make it easy. It's always about diversifying and, it's almost every stream or every podcast we film, there's a new outlier in my head, a new content creator that just like obliterates expectations. Like I met this guy named BitWizard who was just starting out. And I even like the other night I looked into him and be like, he must have a YouTube. He must have something that's like helping his numbers. No, dude, just from fucking scratch. Just, he started out having like decent numbers.
I think the Rockefellers are picking people out.
Maybe, dude, but he had like 80 something people in there the other day. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, isn't that almost partner numbers? It's partner numbers if you're not getting rated. If he's getting rated with these numbers, then it doesn't count. But so he might not be able to apply for partner, but still that's great. And he's playing the same games as me. Like,
that's gotta be a burn.
It's not really a burn. I guess it's like it's motivation to think like what really is making it so difficult for me? Is it the times I'm streaming? We stream at the same time. Is it the games I'm playing? We play the same games. Is it because I'm wearing a beanie? He wears a fucking beanie. I don't know. He's a lot like me is what I'm saying. Like, and it's frightening.
He's literally me.
Yeah, it's frightening. And I have a feeling that you'll probably just zoom past me too. I don't know what it is. If it's, I think I really am not very good with social media. I love social media, but I'm not very good with it. Very lazy with it.
That was a big thing that I did about this trip in Idaho was I wanted to take as many pictures and videos as I can that I could use for social media posts because it's good advertisement.
Yeah.
And I suck at it because I just, for the last like week, I've just been relying on me streaming and I'm like, fuck, dude, I should probably like put this out.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's really good to have that habit because I feel like I have it in my head. I post on YouTube and stuff, sure, but like Twitter and Instagram, I don't.
You got to get out there. MySpace.
Yeah. MySpace, LinkedIn.
Yep. Tumblr.
Yeah.
Got to get on all Pinterest. Got to get everywhere. Got to cover all of them.
Yeah.
Yellow flyers on the back of New York light poles. Those ones are great. I hear the hip with the kids.
The hit with the kids. Yeah, they do.
You know what's really hip actually for some reason? My numbers started, I say soaring. It's not really soaring, but my numbers immediately started to increase when I started taking breaks in my stream. My streams are, I like them to be about 3 hours long, but they usually go at like 2.5 because I get bored or I get tired and I got to turn it off. I got work in the morning, that kind of thing. Where the last stream, it went on for almost 3 as I planned, but I had to immediately leave the house and leave for Idaho. So it was kind of cutting it close. But it's when I start taking breaks to eat some food and I explore the internet for some dumb shit. That stuff
Oh, that's what you mean by break.
I take a break from just streaming for like 10, 20 minutes. So 10, 20 minutes of the stream is just me eating and looking at weird shit on the internet.
Yeah. And it's tough because that is the ticket. That really is the ticket. I mean, especially if you were changing your category and like if you got a Stream Deck or something or coded it to a key, changing your category.
So I can auto hit it. Yeah.
To go to just chatting or something like that. And it's definitely like a mental thing. So when you're looking at streamers, right, you're looking at all these different streams, you stick out immediately because it's just you. There's no gameplay. It's not this tiny window. It's like, oh, this person. Even if they're not thinking like, oh, this guy's fucking hot or oh, this guy looks crazy. Let's click on him.
I got a picture to show you.
It's just because, oh God, it's just because your face is big that they click on it. And, you know, you have a lot of people trying to be streaming without a camera or anything like that. And it hurts because there is no algorithm. You're relying solely on human just interaction.
Just
like
looking at you and going, that guy looks interesting and clicking on that.
Yeah. Even if they're not even thinking those thoughts, they're going to gravitate towards the big thing, the big face. There's a big face. I'm going to click on it. And it's just fucking Twitch psychology, I guess. And
you know, another big thing for Twitch psychology. Amaranth recording like this.
God, yeah, dude, it's so fucking funny, dude. I saw her. She was gardening. She was watering plants in a position that does not make sense for watering plants. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, I find it hilarious because this is how she plays. This is how she plays Diablo.
That's how she plays.
I was sitting there and I was like, dear God, that's crazy. I might hit that follow button.
Yeah. I mean, it works. It's funny. It's so funny because she preys on the men of Twitch. Yeah. And I agree with it. It's fine. City
streamers are what holds up the platform.
Yeah. I wouldn't say what holds up because it's funny because the men still carry most of the views.
They do.
It's so funny. Like, actual like nerd, the core of the nerd community will always reign supreme. We don't know what real vaginas look like, so we it's fine, you know.
What is that?
I'm not sure exactly. It's great that it's a portion of Twitch, but I love that like the sweaty side of Twitch will always reign supreme.
Yeah, like the Asmongold, the Charlie from Moist Critical, like that's like the side of Twitch or the side, I guess, like the internet culture that's always going to have the top of the play. So speaking of streaming though, I'm curious as to what I should play next. And I'm stuck between Fallout New Vegas because I already started playing that. And what was it? Burger King has a game.
Sneak King,
yeah.
God damn it. My viewers would love to watch Sneak King. I don't know what their fucking obsession is with that game.
I know you and your audience are encouraging me to play Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, I mean that would be a good one. It's really tough because I've told you so much. Like, oh, if you play the right game, people love to see people playing this game for the first time. But there is also the rule of play whatever you want because there's always the chance. You never know. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yes, you can cater to the off chance of, or cater to the smart idea of playing a game that will bring new followers in. That's what you have to think about. Like, but you need to bring in followers because that's like the next part of the affiliate thing. 50 followers is easy to hit. You can just ask all your friends and just.
I think I'm already at 22.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. You'll get there. You have the hard part done. There, like I said, there's people that try to get affiliate for years because they can't get the average viewership, and that's done. Like that, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Even if you have a bad stream, whatever, it's going to happen. But you need to get some kind of. I call it like almost like a mana ramp. Have you ever played Magic the Gathering?
Once.
Okay, well, it's like a mana ramp, but you need like a follow ramp. Like you need to build a community. The people that watch me, like now I can play whatever I want and they'll still be there. It doesn't matter because I built a community. So you need to build a community.
They're not just there to watch you play whatever game. They're there
I can
to
literally
watch
do whatever I want and they'll be there. The few, you know, like the
toast.
Yeah, the 10 to 20 people that will, you know, mingle off and on, you know, that have been subbed since day one. Like those, like, which is weird. Like God, my subs used to be so much better, but it doesn't move from the number it is. Like there's like a threshold it will not go below, which I'm very thankful for. And that's because there's people that either forget that I'm on their fucking credit card or that they actually like me and they want to continue that sub. So,
that's cool. So I
that's
kept
what you
looking
need.
at Jen because she kept making weird noises. I didn't know if your dog was going to throw up or something.
Nah, she's prone to seizures. That'd be really sad if she had a seizure on our podcast, but
would you just turn the camera?
No, absolutely not. I'd be very sad and I'd help her out, but she's all right. She's just a noisy bitch. Yeah, but strive for community, because there's like my buddy Ian, who was almost partnered within like 6 months. He was doing really good playing first person shooters, and his demographic was like 12 to 14-year-olds. He was playing this new game called Crunker that was like really...
That's a really toxic community.
It is, but he was really good at Fortnite and stuff. That's the demographic he was going for. Or that's the demographic that was attracted to him. So none of those nerds had money. Nobody had money. So I would be sitting, and that was a good year for me, but I would always have more subs than him. He was partnered, just about partnered, and average 70 viewers, and I was making more money than him because I had a better community.
It happens. Yeah. I mean, I think at that point there's a good chip on your shoulder that's like, well, I'm closer to being partnered and I'll have 3-4 times the viewers, even though I'm making less money with this alone. Like,
yeah, it's not so much viewership. It's really like the community aspect. And there's days where I have quiet streams and it doesn't feel good, but
really,
yeah, but at least I still have those few that are always there, and I wouldn't trade that. Oh, actually, I would trade that for partnership. Sure. I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Toast has been popping up in my stream a lot lately, and it's actually been really like encouraging. As even Chef, when he pops in and he just bullies the shit out of me for 20 minutes. I know it is. When that happens, it's actually kind of like inspiring and encouraging, because it's like, oh, I got people that actually coming in and they're talking to me, and there's actual like, I know those are technically your viewers, and I'm just piggybacking.
No, they're your viewers. You're a glad friend.
I'm a glad friend.
They've been waiting for this for a long time,
and I'm very glad that I have a friend.
But kind of circling back to the taking breaks thing, it's funny because that is 100% a great thing to do, but it's so hard to do when things are slow. Like when you're just like talking to and I'm sure you're going to start feeling it, like talking to yourself. You're good at it. You're great at it, which is good. And I think that's why I thought you'd be good at streaming, is because you can kind of entertain yourself and be entertaining
for a little while, then eventually become self-conscious, self-aware.
Dude, it sucks. Yeah. But and it happens, and it doesn't happen often with me, but there is times like, I'm playing like 16 right now, and obviously no one wants to watch 16 because everyone wants to play 16, like spoilers and stuff. So all my peers like don't want to pop in because they're playing it, and I don't want to pop into their streams because they're playing it. So it's like, only the people that are further than me are like communicating. But I really like to do things like that. As soon as there's opportunity, I love to put down the game and like seek out that opportunity, because it does create a little bit more interaction. And so, but I think as soon as it becomes like forced, like that's where, because I've tried this before, where it just kind of loses its steam. It kind of happens, or like sometimes you start a stream and it's real busy at first. And that's a great time to like, you have to just wait till it's got some bustle to like open up that floor. But to do it when it's like fucking dead quiet, it's hard. It's really hard.
Do you know what streamer is? I have a feeling that he's not even streaming. It's just because I don't watch him stream. I used to. But his name is Doug. You ever heard of him?
Sounds familiar.
He's a super big streamer, and he does a lot of like internet challenges kind of stuff. Like, can I beat Skyrim without walking?
Can I beat Skyrim?
No one's ever done it, man. I've never seen the ending. No, but he like, how do I put it? He will play a game with a weird switch up, and then he does like all this weird shit. But his stream is set up, and he has like thousands of people, and it's very interactive. And everyone's always in on it. Like, it's not just him playing a game. Like his audience is like playing alongside him almost. Like you'll watch it as a YouTube video and you'll still be like encapsulated in it because you're seeing him interact with his audience, and the audience almost interacting with the game around it because he does it to that choice, or does like interacts with the game as they see fit. So he'll be like, all right, guys, what am I doing next? And then he'll get thousands of people, and then he'll pick the top 3 answers he likes, and then they'll do a poll or a vote or something. And that's really cool. And that brings in a bigger audience. But in order to even do that, you have to have a big audience.
You have to have an audience. Yeah, dude, it sucks. Like, and I have things like that too. You know, you can ban in-game actions and you can vote for the next game I'm playing and stuff. We have different little things you can do, but sometimes people don't use them. But what it takes is, and I have this conversation with my moderators, like, please use those tools so that people know they exist, because I don't want to fucking do it. I'm not gonna be like, hey, did you know that you can do this on my channel?
If it looks like the audience is doing it.
Yeah. So I tell my mods, please, for the love of God, like, create clips for me, you know, start these battle royales and stuff that people can do.
Is that why I see Chef always spinning the death wheel or rolling the dice?
That's not why he does it. He does it because he likes to rob me. Like, I owe him literally infinite t-shirts. He has the best luck on the planet, and he's watched me for 4 years, and he just always wins, and it drives me nuts. So I think right now I owe him like 8 shirts. He has all of my, it's not like I'm not giving him shirts. He has all of them. There's like, is he just going to get different sizes? I don't like fucking know what to do for him.
So you're just waiting for you to release a new shirt, and then you'll give him the new one.
But I have a lot of shirts, and he has all of them. You know, there's been times where it's like, oh, I need a new one because it's getting a little warm.
Buy our shit, by the way.
Yes.
Anyway.
Please do.
That's something I wanted to mention. Everyone that I raid says Ozasanai.
Which is
like
fine.
It's Japanese.
It's funny. Whatever.
I know, but it's hilarious because then Chef goes, I thought it was anal.
Oz is anal. Yeah.
Oz is anal. And I thought it was too.
Yeah, I think it's funny when I've heard it once, Ozizanai. And it's like, hold up, just fucking read, take your time.
But they always stutter and do like
don't use underscores, don't change it. It looks cosmetically great, and it's a good brand. So
I need to put
that shit's important.
I need to take some new photos though, so it's not my pangolin everywhere, because they need to see my face.
Yes, they do. I think all of your default pictures, like your profile pictures, needs to be your face. It's very important, because just like how when people click on, they see 8 streams in a category, they click on you because your face is big, because it adds personality, and it's just human nature.
I've been using ChatGPT a lot, by the way, and I convinced ChatGPT, or I got it to tell me how to make some like deadly shit. Like I was like, hey, I'm cleaning my house. What chemicals should I not use in tandem so I don't harm myself? And it told me how to make like various chlorine gases.
Very clever reverse psychology on a robot.
Yeah. And then I was like, hey, I don't want to accidentally make a bomb or something. And then it like gave me everything to make a pipe bomb, or how to use propane to make an IED or something. And I'm like, this is fucking dangerous.
It is dangerous. But Google could already do that.
Oh yeah. You could go to Google, or you can go to Reddit and just type in, how do I not make a pipe bomb? It's like, this is how you don't make a pipe bomb, or something crazy like that. The internet is a fucked up place where everything exists.
Are you on any watch lists?
Probably am. Did you know actually that like the FBI watches so heavily that they just like have little pins? So when you do something, there's just a little flag or a little pin, so that if you ever like get big and popular, that later on in your career, if you do something messed up that you try to hide, they can bring up an entire history.
Oh wow.
They just, if it's bad enough, like if they catch you like with a minor or something.
Well, if they catch you with a minor, you're done.
Well, you're done anyways, but they will bring up an entire history of shit. And even if the FBI isn't doing it, dude, Redditors will do that shit.
Redditors will bring you down.
Redditors will cancel culture is nasty, man. They will trace you back to the fucking dawn of time and ruin your career if you've done anything. Which makes me think, I haven't known you like a super long time, but I want to know, what terrible shit have you done in your life that's on the internet that people forgot? Or it's out there and maybe you forgot.
I don't know if I've done anything super awful, but there was a time, and this could have been an age thing, or it could have been a internet culture thing at the time. But I think like it was a language thing. Like there was words we used a lot back then that we don't use anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I was about to say it as I had to stop myself.
There was a lot of F words back in the day, and it could have been
that too.
Yeah. I don't know why. It was weird, but I don't think I ever did anything on the internet that was that bad, because 2006 is when the internet really picked up for like content. And I think by then I was 16 years old. So I think I had a head on me to where I knew what not to say. But there was times maybe like 2015, 2014, where I had to, for a reason, I had to go back on my Twitter, like scroll way back. And I did find some stupid things. And I'm like, how did I say this? Like, how did I say something like this? Like, was I just, I mean, obviously I was fucking dumb, but I don't know. I don't think
Twitter brings out the dumb in people.
Well, it's especially at the beginning, man. Twitter was so weird in the beginning. It was so weird. And we would tweet all day, every day, the dumbest things. And I don't know. It's kind of painful to look back on those old tweets. I challenge somebody to look through my Twitter and see if there's anything that bad, because there probably isn't.
As I challenge somebody to look at my Twitter, just in general.
But I mean, growing up in like the music community, I've always been very pro everything positive for the most part, because that's like what the music culture is all about. Like fucking hate racism and hate anything against the gay community or anything like that. So I think I just grew up kind of okay.
Isn't the idea of most, like, I feel like that's kind of actually a weird thing to talk about, but it's cool, is that skateboarders and I think the music community for the longest time were just counterculture, just countering whatever was popular. And for a long time, to counter whatever was current was to support gay people. It was to support one thing over another. And now that's just become so normal that like skateboarders and music, it's no longer counterculture, it's supportive culture.
Supportive culture. Oh yeah, 100%. And it's a bummer that it kind of still is counterculture if you're looking at different age groups. Yeah, but I grew up in culture, you know, like I didn't grow up in like a white community. I grew up, I mean, I guess portions of it I did for sure, but growing up in like Anaheim and Vegas, there was always
Anaheim?
There was always, you know, culture around me. My dad was very racist when I was a child. I had lots of black friends that I was not allowed to hang out with, which really was confusing when you're young. It's like, why? That's really fucking bizarre.
Yeah, because
you don't think about that.
Yeah.
And then as I get older, I mean, maybe it's all rooted in my dad. I'm not sure, but my dad thought I was gay for a very long time, which was very confusing for me. Because he was very derogatory towards me about it. And I mean, and then when I reached like teenager years, I was, you know, I had a plethora of gay friends. I was very flamboyant myself. I mean, I wore makeup. I fucking looked sexy as fuck. No, I'm just kidding. But I wore makeup.
What's this past tense you're using?
I wanted to basically be Davey Havoc from AFI. And so there was a lot of feminine traits that I still kind of carry because of how long that portion of my life was.
Like for the longest time, I was idolizing people like fucking like 80s Dave Mustaine. I like
Yeah.
I never pulled the look off, but I wanted that.
You're close.
I'm pretty close.
You're pretty close.
Yeah, it isn't
yeah, you're getting there.
No, but there was a lot of looks that I wanted to try out. Like for a long time, this is gonna sound fucking weird, but I love The Hobbit and I love Lord of the Rings. And you already know who
I don't. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
I wanted to have hairy toes. No, I'm kidding. I wanted to look for a while. I wanted to look like Aragorn.
Oh, thank God you said Aragorn.
And then for a while, because I just thought it looked a little cooler, even though it's like the same idea, I wanted to look like I forget his name. King Under the Mountain. From The Hobbit. He's the dwarf guy. Basically just dwarf Aragorn.
Yeah, dwarf Aragorn.
Basically the same guy.
All their names are so similar.
It's like Thorin.
I think it's Thorin.
Yeah.
Fuck, we're gonna get in trouble if we're wrong.
Probably. No. Yeah, there's
actually.
But yeah, that was the look I wanted to go for, which is why I grew out my hair. Even though
Thorn Oakenshield. Well, you have the hair. You have like the whole top knot thing.
Okay, you know what I'm told I actually look like with my hair being longer now? I'm told I look like either bootleg Goodwill John Wick or bootleg Goodwill Sam from Supernatural.
Sam from Supernatural, sure. Yeah, I guess. Wait, which one's Sam?
The taller, long-haired twink.
No, you look like the other guy. You look like Jensen Ackles. Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
No, the other guy's way more attractive.
You think Jensen Ackles is less attractive than Jared Padalecki?
I don't know. You guys have the same. I don't fucking know. They're both hot. But bootleg for sure.
Well, bootleg,
let's highlight the bootleg there. But I mean, that's again. I don't think it was so much me wanting to look like Davey Havoc. It was I really loved the culture surrounding it. And my friends also celebrated that culture. And we kind of just like, this was before, like, I'm not that I'm giving myself credit or anything, because I'm not, but like before, like men wearing makeup really like exploded, as it kind of has died down, honestly. But like maybe like 2013 to 2015, it was like really, really big with like YouTube content creators and stuff. And I was kind of like before that curve, like before like Jeffree Star.
You were doing it before it was cool.
No, I was just doing it because of Davey Havoc, for sure. He was my inspiration, but also like the 80s, you know, for sure. Fucking Boy George and stuff. And I don't know. I think because of the people I surrounded myself, it was like just okay. If someone was gay, it wasn't even, we didn't even think about it. Yeah. It was just okay, you know, and there was, and like I said in our last podcast, like give it 30 years, everyone's going to be pansexual. I can almost guarantee, like,
I don't know about, I feel like 30's calling it soon, to be honest.
Because it's like,
not saying that like it shouldn't happen any sooner. It'd be great if everyone was more accepting by that point, but I
wouldn't even call it accepting. I just think the line is blurred. I think almost every young person, especially if I'm like talking to them over the internet, I can probably say like most people from the age 25 under, I can ask them their sexuality and they would say pansexual, like 7 out of 10.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't talk to children because I'm not a creep. So
did I use the word children?
You said under 25. That's still pretty young.
Okay. You're under 25. It's not like I'm like fucking taking surveys. What's your sexuality? And I'm
Would
just
you like to sign my petition.
No, I'm being genuinely honest. I think that the younger generation is pushing that. Not on purpose, but I think it's just an evolutionary thing. I think it's, you know, I'm a big ally to like the trans community and stuff, and that shit's really important to me. I think there's people that take advantage of it in negative ways, like the stuff you see on the media, you know, stuff is pretty annoying.
So that actually, while we're talking about that, is a genuine question. Usually I'll ask a lot of the questions I ask, I already know the answer, and I'm just asking to like for the sake of conversation, but this is one that I genuinely have. There's a big conspiracy that pedophiles are trying to insert themselves into the LGBTQ community. Yeah. But the conspiracy, which is true, that is true. They are trying to insert themselves, but the conspiracy is people thinking that it's okay because they're not using the term pedophile.
They're using another term.
They're using other. They're using cover words, I guess, for it that are like minor attracted person, which I still think is pretty on the nose for fucking kids.
Yeah, dude,
that's not exactly tongue in cheek.
It's not okay, and it's very evident that they are trying to incorporate themselves into the LGBTQ community. And it's not the LGBTQ community trying to say, come join us. Yeah. That's not what's happening.
Because every person I've talked to that's an ally or an active member of the LGBTQ community, I meet them and I've asked them, I'm like, hey, is this a conspiracy? And they're like, I've never even seen or heard of that. So it's like, wait, so am I just seeing, because I've only ever seen people like this on the internet. So it's like, how do I meet them? Or not how do I meet them in person, but like how do people actually think about this? Or is this one of those big internet things that's just a complete fake? It's just a fraud.
It's interesting because I hope that it doesn't go down that path, because I'd like to think that I'm pretty coherent on what's like genuine and what's disingenuous. Mm-hmm. And that idea of being attracted to minors being okay,
it's completely wrong.
It should never be okay. And I would be devastated if I'm like the old fogey in the future who like, oh, he's just a fucking mean, angry white guy who hates our love. Love is love. I hope it doesn't become a thing. That'd be fucking terrifying. But I'm wholly...
Here's the thing.
I don't think it's gonna.
I'm gonna quote VeggieTales Twitter for this right here. Okay,
thank you.
And it's that if in the future it does for some fucking dystopian future become okay for kid diddling to be a thing, and it's a part of whatever community, I will gladly die standing on that hill that is not okay rather than dying than live kneeling, because I will live forever. I will become immortal to fight against that, because that is not okay.
It's not okay. And it's very, it's a, a big subject for me too, with myself and people in my family, that it's just, I get that age of consent is different in other places. I get that,
And that's a culture thing.
It's a culture thing.
There's a moral thing. I
there is a
believe.
moral thing, and there's a consent thing, and there's a age of understanding thing. And
I don't think an 8-year-old knows what consent means.
I don't think there's an age of consent that young.
I
think
so.
there is some 12s and stuff in some countries in the world. I think there's some 16s.
In Pakistan, but I don't think there is an age of consent. It's if they're married. That's when you're allowed.
The scary thing is, okay, and that's a cultural thing. That's not even something that I can argue because I don't know about it. But what I do know is that it is gross for someone to even be passionate about fighting for something like that. That's scary. It's one thing if it's like something you're struggling with internally and you're doing everything you can to fight against it, but to think that you have a place, it's not. I'm a big mental health buff as well. It is not a chemical imbalance that you are attracted to that. It is you feeding yourself poison that makes you attracted to that. And it's
then we should send this out as like a message to anyone who is struggling. We'll say that it is a struggle that they feel they're attracted to children, and is that you do not have a place and you need to fix that.
Yeah.
you do not
have a place. It's not allowed.
Yeah.
Not allowed, dog.
Not saying that you can't live, but if you try to act on those tendencies, that is completely unacceptable.
It is. And I blame your fucking parents. You know
what? And that's something I also argue is that I think that there's less and less, and I'm going to sound like an older person, but like almost blaming it starting on the millennial generation of like when them having kids, they're not being so much parents. Cause I think there's a lot more iPad kids and shit like that. You know?
Yeah, dude, it is dangerous. I don't discredit that at all.
I'm not saying it's the millennials' fault, but I'm thinking that it started around with that generation's kids.
Maybe I think thinking that it can be accepted, that sort of with obviously the newer generation, and I'm a millennial. That's but I obviously it's a newer generation that is pushing for this weird acceptance thing, even though their numbers are, I'm sure, very few. But I think it's really deep seated in how you're brought up. When we have people that were murderers, rapists, all of these in the past, they had troubled childhoods for sure, and a lot of them were sexually assaulted as a kid. Like that's just fucking, that's in the cards. If you meet a murderer, chances are they were molested as a child, and and if you're molested as a child, chances are you're gonna do either you're gonna be really fucked up for the rest of your life and have anxieties and things that fucking pummel you every single day of your life because of that trauma. That makes sense. But there's also the other route where because of your trauma, you are now inflicting that to other people.
And I never wish for really anyone to just sit there and suffer for what they where they were traumatized for. But I will never encourage somebody or support somebody who, because they were suffering, they had to make someone else suffer.
Oh yeah, dude.
And that goes for anything, any kind of trauma. It could be something as serious and as major in someone's lifetime and their well-being of being molested as a child, to be something as minute and insignificant to someone as like a rich kid didn't get the right color of Porsche or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is that happened in your life. Never take it out on someone that doesn't deserve it, because that's unfair. You're only reinducing the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Like if anything, take out whatever anger and like whatever trauma you have on whoever it is that inflicted it to you. I think that is, I can support.
At least that makes sense.
That makes sense.
If someone was like, fucking molested or raped or something.
I know there's the argument of like, be the bigger person, but there's a certain point where the bigger person is not the good guy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like being the bigger person means you should just take whatever you were given.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean go kill them. It doesn't mean like fucking put on a cloak and murder them in their sleep. But it's a big issue with fucking like I'm gonna say it's a white people thing for sure. And it drives me up a wall.
White people are the weirdest culture.
They are. And a part of their culture is when there is things like that, when there is someone in the family that does something so despicable, whether it's to another family member, whether it's to just someone who doesn't deserve it, right? They will do everything they can to hide that, to push it under the rug, to, let's send them to a fucking Jesus camp or something, to fix them. And they will hide from the real issue for their entire lives. And that individual will either, fucking do that same shit again, or like it's it's rough, man. I can think of so many examples that I absolutely should not talk about, but people being raised by parents who don't want to solve problems, man. Like, get your kid help. I think circling back to why there's this community of people that think something like that is okay. They needed to get professional help when they were younger, and their parents needed to notice they needed professional help when they were younger. And being a parent, you got to call that shit out and understand that your kids absorb weird shit sometimes on accident. Sometimes it's obviously not what you wanted, but you got to help them or they will create a bigger issue.
It was something I was talking about with a coworker, and it's, and when I was younger, I used to argue video games don't cause violence. It's like competitiveness. Like when you play baseball, you see them get upset when they get competitive. No, I agree. Now, as an adult that I've seen it, video games do cause violence in young, impressionable children that do not have the proper supervision or guidance of their parents. With that not being in the picture, yes, a video game will encourage a child to do something awful. And I hate to say that because I'm not advocating for violent video games to stop being made or to change. None of that needs to change. It's the parents.
Yeah.
Because the parent who's not supervising their child or guiding their child while they're being 9 playing GTA.
Yeah.
Or being 11 and hearing the N-word on Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff, they'll learn, oh, that must mean it's okay because no, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like none of that is okay.
It's such a good call out because I agree with that wholeheartedly and happened in the music scene. Like I remember growing up, I grew up in church, like from ages 13 to like 17, very rooted in church. And I was the bad kid because I listened to bad music. I was a bad kid because I listened to fucking Slipknot and stuff. And I never understood the argument because they always said like, oh, this is evil. It's going to teach our kids to start cutting themselves and stuff. And I was not impressionable that way. I was not. I loved music. I genuinely love to sit down, listen to a record, write music, dissect music. I loved music, but I had peers that really did do bad things to themselves and other people because of music.
And everyone's different because like obviously you were not being how do I put it? The outlet that you had for your example of what was, teaching violence and shit like that, and was just a bad impression for kids as they argue, was you enjoyed it not because it was violent, but you enjoyed it. Well, maybe you did a little, but you enjoyed it because you loved music.
Yeah.
So you dissected it, which is okay. Because even if you did or did not have good parent supervision, you were already in the right mindset, which doesn't happen. That you can't say that for every kid.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be general about like being good parents to your kids to make sure that when they hire and then rob and murder a hooker in GTA, that does not mean you could do that in real life.
Yeah.
That does not mean you can proposition somebody in real life. That's something that I think I hear a lot of kids don't even not my brother, but my brother's friend was over once when I was living and we're living with them. And he actually was like, he had never been, he was like visiting in Vegas and he was like, so do you guys just have like prostitutes just walking around? And we're like, no. And he goes, well, where can you find one? I'm like, what do you mean? Where can you find one? I'm like, you're 12. Like you're 12 and you play.
You don't got the money, dog.
You don't got the money. Like I know in GTA it's like $75 for this, $75. Dog, try $750 if you find one. If you look for them, they're gonna make you pay for it. Like it's not experience. Anyways, this is coming out.
Not the point you wanted to get to.
Not the point I want to get to. The point I wanted to get to is that the kids that are given the wrong parental supervision and guidance will do stupid things with stupid outlets.
Yep.
Right. And maybe back in the day it was music, listening to what was it, that one Beatles song, if you played in reverse, upside down, in monarch, like all this extra shit that you had to do that no fucking kid was doing. You would hear the devil say something.
Yeah.
It's like you do that to any record, you'll hear the devil say something. Weird shit like that, right? It's still the parent's fault if the kid does something.
Yeah, it's not that you don't care about your kid. You're just not present enough to notice that they're confused and they need some guidance.
It's a lot of effort. It is a lot of
fuck. That's why I don't want kids, because I'm terrified of fucking it up, man.
And I think that's probably the most responsible thing for you to admit that you're not ready for kids.
Yeah, I'm not. No, but I definitely don't want kids. A, because it's very terrifying, but B, you don't know if you're going to be. I would step up to the plate, but I know that I'm not ready for it, you know, and yes, I might be able to adapt, but I think people they want kids because they want that emotional connection. They want that like, oh, it's a piece of me. Like, I fucking get it. Great.
It's a selfish reason.
It's a selfish reason, man. You better make sure you are ready to give that kid the best life possible. And that doesn't mean money. That doesn't mean education. That means mentorship and guidance and just knowledge.
Something that a lot of parents don't understand. And this is something I'm dealing with actually with someone I know very well. I'm going to be as anonymous as possible for this because they do watch the podcast. And it's that their parents don't take accountability for anything that they do that is harmful to their child. So this person that I know, they're going through a lot of personal stuff right now, and they're having to actually seek like professional help for things that are going on physically and mentally with them. And their parents are making it about them, which is the worst thing for your child to go up to them and say, hey, I got this disability that I found, or I got a disorder, or I think I might, and I need this professional help. And they're not even asking for the parents for anything. They're just informing them because a child should be able to go to their parents, even not asking for help, but just to relay information, you know, like with my girlfriend all the time, whenever I have some kind of accomplishment, even though she probably doesn't give a shit and there's no reason for me to tell her, I want to tell her. Children have that with their parents, and they should. And if the parents then make the child feel more guilty, that's making them feel worse for the issue. That makes the parents look worse, so they're already hurting themselves. But like, parents think that like because they had a kid, all their accomplishments are theirs and all their failures are not theirs. That's the kid's fault, when it's completely the other way around. If you're going to have accountability for your child doing something good and that gives you the credit, you need to have the accountability for when your child has something wrong, because that's also probably going to be your fault. If you don't want accountability, then you can't take the credit for them doing something successful either. When your kid graduates college, you can't take that. If you do take that, that means you also have to take when they fucking fucked up on doing something. Like, you got to take it all.
Yeah.
Point being, I think, and I'm not a parent, but I had a big troubled childhood, and I went through a lot of counseling, and I went through a lot of therapy, and I had a lot of help, and I learned a lot of things. So a lot of it is me, it's me vomiting up information that I've absorbed, right? I'm squeezing a sponge here. So I didn't do any of this. This is just what I've been seeing, and this is just what I've been told and what I've read. But parents, the best possible advice that they can be given is to just be there for their child and not for themselves.
Oh yeah. You're not expected to know everything.
No,
you don't have to be you don't have to have a fucking psychology major or fucking doctorate to be a good parent. You just need to listen to your kid and answer questions as best as you can. And if you don't have the answers, seek out answers.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost better to be a parent that has less answers or more questions than they do answers. Because if a child goes to their parent thinking the entire lifetime that their parent knows and has all the answers, that makes it, on a very minor scale, it makes the kid, how do I put it? Reliant on the parent for help.
Oh yeah. Or their parent might have fucking
no answers at all.
Awful answers.
And then that it puts an impression on the child.
Like my dad had my dad was a racist. He's a fucking porn star. He's a drug addict, drug dealer. Why
would you go to him for advice? Like, as a kid, you had no choice.
When I'm a kid, but still, when I'm a kid, he would tell me these things and I would say, okay, gotcha. And that's dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Fucking dangerous.
No, I have vivid memories of me going to my dad about questions and stuff, just being a kid. And he would just look at me and he would say something like, you know, if you weren't retarded, you'd have the fucking answer. Like something like that.
God.
And then he would just be like, so come back when you're better.
Come back when you're better.
Like, he just wanted me to go get the answer. And I know in a movie that'd be like, oh, he's being inspiring to the kid. No.
What movies are you watching?
No, like, no, you know what I mean? It's like
the dad, when you're better.
The dad like encourages the child through like, so the child
thinks he's being inspiring.
He thinks he's being inspiring. I mean, he probably thinks that now, or he doesn't remember, but like, definitely parents will think that encouraging their children is also them like, oh, they need to prove to the parent.
Dude, your kids are going to suck.
Your kids, yeah.
Just help them out, dog.
Yeah. You know, the whole nurture versus nature thing, there has to be a good balance, and every kid is different. There is no perfect like algorithm, you know, there is no perfect 2 + 2 will always equal 4 kind of thing for raising a child. there are always variables. Like if your child is born with autism, they're missing a limb. Missing a limb is traumatic for a child when they go into school and they go, hey, Dad, how come everyone else has 2 hands and I don't? Like that has got to be awful for a kid. But moving on to we'll move on to a better subject.
A happier subject.
Happier subject. We'll just wrap it up quickly with be good parents. Listen to your kids.
Yeah.
Be loving. I think that's the one constant in every parent. Do everything with love. Not everything has to be a lesson, but everything has to be with love.
Yeah.
Because if the child is grown up with love, then they will grow up to love others. And that is the future. That should be the future.
And don't fucking have a kid so you can post Instagram pictures and have this weird faux connection with a pet until they're old enough to start developing their brain, and then you want to drop the ball. Like,
if you want to have pet semen, play The Sims. Play The Sims. You can have them there. And I guarantee your kids on The Sims are way more interesting than your kids in real life.
Well, you know what? Now I want to talk about sim neglect.
Sim neglect? Do you have any sim profiles I've opened and I've never gone back to?
I'm just kidding. I don't really play Sims, but let's not talk about Sims. That'd be a weird thing. Did you hear about Elon Musk canceling the fight?
Okay, well, first we should open up with Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg wanted to fight in a cage match. I don't have other details other than that, so I didn't know if it was going to be like a WWE like joke. Like
I think it was just a straight up fight, like a UFC fight.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Imagine it was like when Donald Trump like went on to WWE and he had a sponsored fight.
Yeah.
Like if that was that'd be so fucking hilarious. Like Mark Zuckerberg walks in and he pulls out like his sponsored fighter, the Lizard. And then Elon Musk, his sponsored fighter is like Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator or something stupid like that.
God.
But no, I heard it was one of their moms was the one that actually stepped in.
It was Elon's mom who said, "You're not going to fucking fight Zuckerberg. What is wrong with you?" And he said, "Okay, sorry, Mom."
Why did they want to fight in the first place?
I think it could have just been this big marketing ploy because it's hilarious. I mean,
it's a very Elon Musk thing to do for the media.
Yeah, well, Zuck's been like really fucking beefing up lately. And Elon Musk, why not? I mean, he'd probably just fucking be like piloting some kind of flesh suit that had like super powered hydraulic punches of some sort. But
I like the idea that Elon Musk pulls out his true form when he sees Mark Zuckerberg pull out his true form, and Elon Musk is just a giant, terrifying robot. And Mark Zuckerberg is Reptile from fucking Mortal Kombat. Yeah,
it was definitely like a weird moment in the timeline, you know, like what the fuck? Because I thought it was a meme.
Is that going to be how the fight looks?
Elon wearing fucking a suit of armor. I like that.
Of course, he would probably go in with a sword too. Dude, okay, Mark does look a little...
Yeah, I mean, not like crazy, but he's been working out a lot.
He's definitely not like what you'd imagine the owner of... Well, I guess he is what you'd imagine the owner of Facebook to look like. But he doesn't look like a fucking Redditor is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Imagine the average Redditor being like just jacked as shit. Like every incel was just like Ronnie Coleman.
That'd be scary, man. It'd be a dangerous place.
It is a dangerous place.
It'd be a dangerous place if, I mean, imagine if everyone on Reddit could beat you up. Like that'd be scary. Luckily, most of them are very frail.
If I was in a room with everyone on Reddit, I'm sure if they wanted to fight me, I would lose. I don't care how big they are. If everyone on Reddit
Not everyone on Reddit, but just say like, you see some guy talking shit on Reddit. Okay, just classic Redditor guy.
So you talk shit back.
And then you talk shit back and you meet him and he's fucking yoked. That'd be scary. Because usually I'd be confident like, oh, he's fucking Redditor.
I'm an American adult. I'll just bring a gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's safer that way.
If someone wants to fight, I will fight unfairly. That's as the American way dictated in 1995.
1995, when the Constitution was written.
When the Earth was born in the 60s, wasn't it?
No, it was born in the 60s, and then something. I think some kind of.
I'm working off of that like fucking Dragon Ball timeline where we're in the 290th era, even though that has no like equivalent to where everything is in time.
I don't even know what that means.
You've never seen like the Dragon Ball timeline where it says the year is 290, but everything's futuristic while also being old as fuck.
I didn't know they had like their own timeline, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's something you should look into. You should do better.
I should do better. Come back when you're better.
Come back when you're better. The grimace shake. What the fuck is happening?
Dude, Sarah asked me, she's like, what's up with this meme? And I genuinely didn't have an answer. I said, I don't know. It's just people are doing that.
And it's fucking
and I don't know why.
There's one guy who claims that he is a high-ranking official in McDonald's like corporation, and he did the meme. He claims he's verified on TikTok, so in Instagram and shit. So I'm like, okay, well,
he started like the blood splatter thing.
He didn't start it, but he definitely became a part of it. And McDonald's is aware. What's today? The 29th. It's on the two days ago. Then the 27th. McDonald's posted a picture of Grimace, and it said, me pretending I don't see the Grimace shake trend. So they're very aware.
That's funny. Well, Grimace, we don't even really know his motives.
He used to have 4 arms.
Really?
Yeah, when the Grimace was first introduced, he was a villain that had 4 arms, and then they were like, you know what? Fuck the villain thing. And then they gave him 2 arms, and he became Buddy. He would steal milkshakes. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know the lore behind Grimace.
It's fucking stupid that fast food companies have lore. That is still dumb.
It is weird.
The only lore that I care about, though, actually, which is going to maybe being fucking hypocritical here, Jack in the Box lore. Jack in the Box lore is hilarious.
Is it hilarious?
There's not a lot of continuity. There's not a lot of like actual story. It's just the things that Jack does are always canon to his character, right? So Jack once held down a guy and forced him to eat a burger and say good things about Jack in the Box. That happened. Jack in the Box stood in front of a Burger King and tore his shirt off and said, you don't like it? Do something about it. That's canon. There's another YouTube channel actually that you should watch. And they give you like Animal Planet or Discovery Channel level information on animals and bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
But as a tier ranking system, as if they were a video game and what class they are.
Oh God, that's pretty good.
It is, and it is fucking intelligent and it is funny because he does a whole tier ranking system of all the types of fish that exist. All like not like, oh, here's Striper and then here's Striper, but in the one that lives in Africa. That's the only difference. Like there's fish and then there's tuna fish and then there's salmon fish. And like, he just kind of does that. And he breaks down all their strengths and weaknesses. And he has a whole thing. It's like, do you know why giraffes are broken in the African server? Like, instead of calling it a country, it's like, yeah, it's great shit. I love that type of stuff. Like when reality just this brings up actually with VR, and you and I talked about this before, when reality and I guess fiction, when the line is blurred, like in Paprika, that is when I will be happy.
Yeah.
That is when I'll be at my happiest. When I can Matrix link up into Skyrim, I will be happy.
Yeah. Again, it's not something that it's something that I would love, obviously, but it's something that would be very unhealthy for humanity unless there was a way to integrate that into like in time, everything's going to be automated. And
unfortunately,
and some things that we do now that we think, oh yeah, there'll always be the human element there. It might not be a thing. You know, you might be able to go to a McDonald's that's completely automated, 100% automated.
And somehow they'll still fuck up my order.
Yeah, they definitely will. I have a feeling that in the future, 40-hour work weeks won't be a thing. It'll be something less. There's a lot of countries that are doing it, like 32-hour work weeks and stuff like that. Because people are a little bit more effective when they have 3 days off. Like that's like a, psychology thing. And maybe like 50 years, 100 years into the future, we don't need to work so much because things are automated. There's a lot less jobs. There's a lot more, jobs are actually more like engineering and arts and music and stuff, entertainment. And then I don't think VR would be such a bad thing. But VR now would be really, really disastrous, I think.
Yeah, if it was like The Matrix or SAO today.
Because people would choose that.
They'd quit their jobs. Dude, when VR like that exists, people like David Goggins will cease to exist.
Who's that?
He's this guy that he's like this really big like workout ethic dude. A lot of people who work out look up to him because he runs like 60 miles like a day or something fucking crazy. The guy's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
He runs in like 130-degree weather for 4 hours straight before he goes, damn, my warm-up is almost done, and then he puts out like a 6-hour workout. The guy is a fucking insane. Any human, if you did anything he did, you'd probably die. He's a weird specimen. He was like in the Marines, and he's this very skewed ideology. Like when he looks at fat people, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's looking at this guy that was fat on the podcast, and he goes, he's like, "You're a fucking disgrace. You should kill yourself. You're a maggot on the face of the earth."
I saw
when
that.
VR exists, no one's gonna listen to him.
Yeah, they won't care.
They won't care. He would probably give into the simulation himself and have like some fucking Andrew Tate style existence before he's found for being this horrible being.
Yeah, I don't want people to like fucking give up on real life. You know, and I genuinely think real life is going to get really interesting soon.
It will.
I'm one of those guys. I love security. I love just normalcy. I love being able to do normal shit and stuff. But I would also love for shit to hit the fan.
You talking like Mad Max or?
Oh yeah, that'd be fucking sick, dude. I'd be down. I'd be down. Like
now become my second favorite person.
Yeah, I mean, you only live once, man. Like.
Dude, I want did you ever play the game? This is going to be weird because I know you hate like Ubisoft games, or most of them, but did you ever play the game The Division?
Yeah.
Okay. That's weird that you played that.
I mean, I never like beating it, but it's cool.
Do you remember that environment? I want that.
Yeah. I mean, that one's a little boring. I would want something a little bit more.
The Last of Us?
Maybe I'm not a big zombie fan, but I'm trying to think of something that would actually be really interesting.
Okay. Then here's the topic. And this will be a question for the audience then. I'll post this on like Twitter or something, even though this fucking podcast is going to come out like way later. But anyways.
Akira.
You want it to be like Akira? But what kind of apocalypse do you want? You want it to be like Akira?
No, there's a lot. I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic stuff.
Okay.
So there's apocalyptic, then there's post-apocalyptic. Akira is post-apocalyptic. Things like Last of Us is post-apocalyptic.
It is.
I like the idea of what happens after things settle down, after shit hits the fan. That's interesting. Like what kind of government comes after that? What kind of
if we're talking post-apocalyptic, easily, hands down, because it would be comfortable, and I understand it already because I live in Nevada. Fallout New Vegas, 100%, easiest one.
Fallout would be cool. That's a little like cliche post-apocalyptic.
It is cliche, but I think New Vegas is interesting enough. I'll just make sure I choose the Wild Wasteland perk when I spawn.
There you go. Yeah.
But I think as far as like a regular apocalyptic event, the one that I would want to actually experience would not be Fallout, because that would just be me running from fire for like ever. And that sucks. And it wouldn't be Mad Max because that's like the same shit. What do you think would be like a cool current apocalyptic event?
Well, I think
like a zombie apocalypse would be, is cliche, but that's an easy answer.
That's probably like the most, I mean, have you ever seen, there's a lot of cool stuff. Like 12 Monkeys would be cool.
12 Monkeys?
12 Monkeys.
What the hell's 12 Monkeys?
It's a movie from the 90s. Hey Siri, what year did 12 Monkeys come out?
Holy shit.
It came out in 1995.
Dude, monkeys existed in 1995?
Yes. Okay, no, but the show is much better. The show came out like 2017. The show like explains a lot more. That would be really sick. There's also like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like that's really cool post-apocalyptic. That's like obviously hundreds of years after like apocalyptic event. I'm trying to think of something that's like or what was that other one? Westworld.
Westworld would be cool.
Westworld, like that'd be cool if something like that happened. Fucking AI takes over.
I've never watched Westworld.
The show is really good up through season 2.5.
Is that the one where they like rich people can go in and experience like cowboy events if they wanted to?
Yeah, but they have other worlds too. There's like Samurai World and stuff. But eventually it goes to like the whole planet, and it's cool. Stuff like that. I just think stuff like that would be interesting. Like life is really mundane, which I am grateful for. But it'd be cool if something crazy happened. Interstellar. It's a really cool, like, apocalyptic film.
I've heard the soundtrack. Before you get on me, I've heard the
God damn
soundtrack,
it,
and I've seen
Oz.
all the popular scenes, and I know some of the trivia. Like the corn maze that he drives through, they grew because they couldn't find one right, and they made
Why
a
wouldn't
profit.
you just watch it instead of watching all this
Because it
garbage?
costs money for me to get to watch the movie.
It costs $4. I had this conversation with someone last night. They were like, "Oh, I don't have money." I'm like, "Fucking rent it for $5." I know for a fact you're typing on a computer in Discord right now. You have $5 to rent that movie.
No, I know.
I even told him. I said, "I will Venmo you $5 to watch this fucking movie."
Well,
I was annoyed.
I have friends who also own it on disc, and I'm just waiting until I annoy them into letting me borrow it.
Okay, we'll do that.
So like right now, the movie I'm about to watch, because I borrowed it from Bianca, is she gave me 2 masterpieces. Usually she gives me 1 masterpiece and then 1 like just hot garbage film. So like she gave me Akira to watch that, and then Troll 2. So obviously one of them's an anime masterpiece, the other one's hot garbage. And the next one around, she gave me 2 masterpieces. One of them was definitely better, though. It was Princess Mononoke and Paprika. I actually like Paprika a little more than Princess Mononoke, but I think
It's a lot more, honestly, it's a lot better written.
I think so, but
It is.
Bianca, the way she put it was that if I was a child watching Princess Mononoke, I think the nostalgia would probably make me like it more, because watching it again as an adult is just different. But watching it for the very first time as an adult was definitely a different experience. But then she gave me Fight Club, because I haven't seen Fight Club.
Wow.
And then another movie that's also like a masterpiece that apparently like Drive or something. No, I haven't seen Drive either.
Yeah, no, those are both great. I just hope you don't become one of those nerds that like fucking makes Fight Club their entire personality. Oh, I fucking hate that.
I'm making Ryan Gosling my entire personality.
Yeah, dude. He's probably my favorite actor.
You and I are going to, and this is just going to be it. Like, I'm not hearing an argument.
Blade Runner is a good post-apocalyptic.
That one is very good. I haven't seen 2049. Or 2047, but I saw
the fuck.
Listen,
like you're literally listing the best movies like ever made,
and I haven't watched them.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I watched the first one, and I think that's why I haven't watched the second, was because I wanted to watch the first one again before I watched the second, and I just haven't gotten around to it. Because I'm told that like
watch the director's cut of the first one.
Oh, okay. I haven't done.
It adds about 20 minutes. It's worth it.
Yeah, we are going to theater hop, by the way, because we're gonna go watch Oppenheimer. And then the moment that movie finishes, we're taking our happy asses back into the front of the theater to buy tickets to go watch Barbie, because it comes out the same day.
Oh, does it? Wow, what a weird idea. I think Barbie looks great. I think people didn't know what it was going to be, and I had a feeling I knew what it was going to be. It's like a satire. It's like completely satire, and it looks great.
Have you seen the meme of like people in the Barbie theater when the nuke goes off during Oppenheimer?
No, Oppenheimer's going to be good. Probably. I mean, that and Dune. You haven't seen Dune Part 1, have you?
No, I haven't seen the original Dune either, nor have I read the books.
You don't need to watch David Lynch's Dune. I mean, it's fucking goofy and bizarre. Watch it for the experience, but it's not like it's this incredible movie. Yeah.
I remember I was talking to my grandma years ago about the game Doom. And she saw me playing, and she's like, "Oh my God, they made a movie out of this." And I was like, "Yeah, it came out in 2005. It was called, it had the Rock." And she goes, "Oh, it's a little older than that, and it doesn't have the Rock." And I'm like, what?" And she explained it, and I'm like,
made by David Lynch. Yeah.
No, she breaks down the entirety of Dune, and I'm like, "Oh, that's Dune with an N and an N and an E. This is Doom, OOM." And she goes, "Oh."
Yeah, not the same grandma.
And then walks away. Like, didn't even like continue. She just went, "Oh." And then like schizophrenic walked away. It was fucking weird. So a movie that I reference because it's like just a common like pop culture reference is like when you say, "Oh, it's good. It's no Citizen Kane, but it's good." I've never seen Citizen Kane, but I've been told that it is apparently one of the most intelligent and the like up next to like, I guess as people compare it, The Godfather is the not the antithesis, the epitome of a good film is Citizen Kane. And I don't know why. I've yet to see it, but no one's told me why.
It's good. I think intelligent is the right word. You have to think of like movies weren't always like that. We didn't get intelligent movies for a long time. And then all of a sudden art in film became a really big thing. I don't even want to start listing movies because I know you're going to be like, haven't seen it. Or
I will say I've seen it and you just have to think it's a lie.
God, yeah. Yeah, so you trapped me. You told me you lie and now you're telling me the truth. So it's like,
which one is it?
Anyone you say that you have watched, I'm not going to fucking believe you.
Here, name a movie. Name any movie.
Space Odyssey. 2001 Space Odyssey.
I watched it. It was about 10 years ago. so I don't remember a whole lot. I remember the weird like obelisk and the monkeys, and I remember it looking super.
The first 5 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, and then I remember when he's walking. I forget which character. He's like walking through like the satellite like space station thing, and it looks super high definition.
We've actually talked about this. Yeah,
this.
okay.
I don't remember too much about the movie. I remember a little bit about like the AI kind of thing, but not a long time.
I mean, I'm trying to think of my favorite movie. You've seen Alien, right?
Yeah, I love Alien. I love Aliens just a little bit more, but
yeah, that one's a little bit more cowboy. Yes. But that's probably why you like it. But yeah, I love Ridley Scott, love Stanley Kubrick.
You know what movie I have seen? Only the first half, because I was told to only watch the first half. And I want to go back now after I've heard about the last half. And I'm like, why the fuck did no one tell me about this? Full Metal Jacket.
Why would you watch half of a movie?
Because they said it's a long movie to start. So you're getting a full movie while they're just in basic training. Yeah. I was told like that's a full movie on its own and it's good to watch. And it was very good. But now I want to go watch the whole thing. Apocalypse Now was too long, so I ended up stopping halfway through because
You didn't finish that one either?
I didn't finish it, and I want to go back. I just haven't been in the mindset.
That is a very long movie.
I just have not been in the mindset to sit down for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I just don't have time a lot of the day. Like there's 24 hours in a day and 3 of it's going to be spent watching Apocalypse Now. I like I'm naming a lot of Vietnam movies, but I love like Vietnam era movies because there is such a weird counter creation of the culture of war movies. When you look at movies that were made about World War II, it's showing the horrors of the Holocaust, or it's showing the might of the U.S. as propaganda fighting Nazi Germany. There's no in between. Yeah. And you could say like, oh, what about Jojo Rabbit? That was showing the horrors of the Holocaust. Yes, it tried to make Nazi Germany look good for a second because that was the idea, that it looked good from that right perspective. And then what happened? It looked bad because it was bad. Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is like the only movie that was like both, where it was showing the might of the U.S. versus Nazi Germany as propaganda of the U.S. being great, as well as it being the horrors of the Holocaust, because then you get to see what it looked like in some areas of France, which was fucking terrifying to see, especially during that scene on D-Day when they're storming the beaches of Normandy. Fucking horrifying. Vietnam movies are different, including another Tom Hanks movie, Forrest Gump, which is, believe it or not, probably my favorite Vietnam War movie because of like it's funny and it's very creative and like upbeat, but it is still holding that Apocalypse Now. What was the one that had Charlie Sheen and Willem Dafoe?
Oh fuck! It was.
You know exactly which one I'm talking about.
I know exactly why.
Which is a weird combination to think of,
I know exactly the movie. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, that one. What's the other one that I was thinking about earlier? Full Metal Jacket. Those movies all show that even though they're made by U.S. creators, we were the bad guys. And maybe the Viet Cong were bad as well, and we were just a slightly worse or slightly not as bad. That's still up for debate, and that's a discussion and argument for people to have that I don't care about. But it shows that it was awful for everybody, and they always make, even in Forrest Gump when he's not even in war anymore, and he's just giving his speech. What's it about? It's about why the U.S. were the bad guys, and the U.S. tried to sabotage it and cover it up, and then it gets into Kennedy stuff, and that's why it's really weird for video games to make Vietnam stuff, and you don't see it as often. It's always about World War II.
Because it's touchy territory.
It's very controversial. Yeah. And I love that about Vietnam movies, is because it scratches an itch that everyone's afraid to scratch. Yeah. Because it's super controversial. It's territory nobody wants to walk on. Territory that everybody walks on, though, Afghan War. All of it is feel good, happy. U.S. is the good guy stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of fucked up stuff, though, especially with being in an age where technology was so advanced. Yeah. You know, with drone attacks and stuff. Like there's a lot more.
Do you know how scary it is that we can just pilot a fucking something that can annihilate? You have 3 of them and you can take out an entire country all from your couch. In another country. Do you know how scary that is? The fact that just exists.
I think it's kind of a good thing that it's kind of de-romanticized war, because we kind of know that it's very much just from a distance shit can happen. Like it's not so heroic, like boots on the ground anymore because it doesn't happen as often.
War is not pretty. And that was something that for countless generations, it was romanticized. Like everyone was like, oh, I'm going to war. It's like, oh, we're so proud of you, Sonny. It's like, you're making the family proud. You're going in the military and you're fighting the bad guys and you're ooh rah like that, and I'm going to be real with you. I've been a victim of being like happy about that kind of thing. I told you I almost joined the army, and then and one thing led to another, and I obviously didn't, but then I started reading into it and watching more things, and I look at it and it's like, war is not good. And there's movies out there that obviously make it ugly, as it should be, like various Vietnam films in more recent history. They're kind of like Saving Private Ryan was probably a good dip into how horrible World War II was and how it's not pretty. Games are kind of getting into that. But it is still very real to have that, like that 9/11 syndrome, that Patriots disease.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think it's something that the veil has been lifted off of, which is good, but it's now it's a little scary because even if you wanted to hide behind that romanticized vision of war, you can't anymore. War is fucking ugly, and everyone can see it now.
It's kind of got, and I think they got away with it for so long. And I say they as in like just people and just existing. They got away with it for so long because you couldn't actively just whenever you want see an active war zone. You couldn't, like back in World War II and even Vietnam, which is why it's such touchy territory that they were exposing what was happening in Vietnam. And World War II, it was just, yeah, I'm doing my part, like the beginning of fucking Starship Troopers. Today, just about every single day, I'm seeing live combat from Ukraine.
Yeah.
This is among the first few wars where we can like watch it on just television, just as it happens.
And the weird, I feel like I won't be able to expand on this, but I have friends content creators who are in Ukraine. So even just adding content creation to it and creators and people who are just big on social media, they can show you what's happening and go into depth. And it's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking crazy.
To wrap it up, this episode is a little more serious and not as funny.
It was, huh? Goddamn.
But it's okay. It happens. It has to happen every once in a while. This is the message for you kids at home. All right. Do your research on everything. Love your children. And buy our shit.
Hey!